Good morning everyone, I am Mrs. Priyanka Gupta and I am going to teach subject biology of class 9th, chapter 2nd tissues, and this is the fourth part of the second chapter. In fourth part we are going to discuss about the animal tissues. Now what are animal tissues? Animal tissues are made from different types of tissues. Now, each tissue is capable of performing a specific function. Muscle, blood, nerves, lymph, etc. are all tissues which are specialized to perform various functions in the body. Now, if we talk about the animal, in animals there are different type of tissues are formed for performing the different type of functions in the body. Now if we talk about the muscles, in muscles we found different type of tissues. In blood we found different type of tissues. Similarly in nerves, lymph and around different organs we found the different type of tissues. Now further, if we talk about the animal tissue, it is divided into 9 parts. Now I will show you with the help of the diagram so you will be understand easily. Now animal tissue, and animal tissue is divided into the 9 parts. First part is the epithelial tissue, second is the connective tissue, third is areolar tissue, fourth adipose tissue, fifth skeletal tissue, sixth fluid connective tissue, seventh dense regular tissue, eighth muscular tissue, ninth nervous tissue. Now these tissues are divided also in further parts. Now this is the fifth one, this is the skeletal tissue, and skeletal tissue is divided into 2 parts, that is bone and cartilage. Now next is the fluid connective tissue. It is divided into blood and lymph. Then dense regular tissue is divided into tendon and ligament. Then muscular tissue, it divides into 3 parts: striated muscles, non-striated muscles and cardiac muscles. Then nervous tissue, it divides again into 3 parts, that is the axon, cyton and dendrites. Now this whole is the part of the animal tissue. Now in detail we are going to discuss about the animal tissue. And in animal tissue, first we will take the epithelial tissue. We will discuss first about the epithelial tissue. Now the first one is the epithelial tissue. What is epithelial tissue? This is the simplest animal tissue which forms a sheet of cell to make the protective covering over animal body. It means what? Epithelial tissue is the outermost tissue, or you can say outermost layer, which is formed on the animal body, and it acts as a protective covering. Protective covering means so that outer substances won't be able to harm the inner part of the body. That's why it acts as a barrier also. Epithelial tissue acts as a barrier also, and it protects the internal organs of the body by providing the protective covering. Now what are the functions of epithelial tissue? First function is it covers body and protect against mechanical injury. First function is epithelial tissue covers the body and protects from the mechanical injury. अगर कभी कोई चोट लग जाती है या कोई इंजरी हो जाती है तो it always protects from that. Now second point is protects internal organs by forming a line on their surface. हम लोग की बॉडी पार्ट्स में जो भी इंटरनल ऑर्गन्स होते हैं उनके ऊपर इंटरनल ऑर्गन्स के सरफेस पे जो एपिथेलियल टिश्यूज़ होते हैं वो क्या करते हैं, लाइनिंग फॉर्म कर देते हैं, so that the internal organs will be protected. Now third point is, in lungs, alveoli helps in diffusion of gases between air and blood. Epithelial tissues जो होते हैं वो lungs की help करते हैं when diffusion of gases takes place in air and blood, between the air and blood. Now fourth point, in intestine, epithelium allow absorption of water and digested food. हम लोग की जो intestine होती है, that is the small intestine and large intestine. We are having two types of intestine in our bodies, that is the small intestine and large intestine. तो epithelial tissues जो होती है, जितना भी water और digested food absorb होता है intestine में, तो epithelial tissues क्या करती है, हेल्प करती है intestine को water digested food को absorb करने में. Now the fifth point is the epithelium helps in healing of injury on organs. अगर किसी internal organ में कोई harm हो गया है या फिर कुछ injuries आ गई है तो उसको heal करने में, heal means ठीक करने में epithelial tissues help करते हैं. Now I am going to show you the diagrams with the types of epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue is divided into three parts. First one is the squamous epithelium, second one is the columnar epithelium, third one is the cuboidal epithelium. Now this is the diagram of squamous epithelium. In squamous epithelium, cells are in the flattened type. It means cells are arranged in a sheet. Now the second one is the columnar epithelium, cuboidal epithelium. Now in cuboidal epithelium, cells are like cube. You all have seen cube. So cells are like the cube and they arrange themselves in the cuboidal form. Now the third, columnar epithelium. Now the third type is the columnar epithelium. And in columnar epithelium, cells are tall. They are in the form of columns. And its thickness and the thickness of these cells are also more than the squamous and the cuboidal epithelium cells. And this is in the column form. And these are also called the tall cells. Now these are the three structures. Hope you all have understood till here. Now the second part of the animal tissue is connective tissue. Now what is connective tissue? Connective tissue aids in binding, joining, connecting and packing one tissue to another in animal body. So whole body can function as integrated unit. Now connective tissue, it means what? Connective tissue, as the name clears, as the name shows, that connective means what? To combine something. तो connective tissues में क्या होता है? So many tissues are joining together is called the connective tissue. Now the next is the third part of the animal tissue, that is the areolar tissue. Now what is areolar tissue? Areolar tissue forms a packing tissue between different organs lying in cavity of blood body of animal. And the main function is what? Joining the skin to muscle. Now what is areolar tissue means? It means that it works as a packaging tissue. Packaging tissue means it always packed muscles to skin. Packed means here joining muscles to skin. Now the fourth part is the adipose tissue. Now adipose tissue, this is specialized tissue to store fats in its cells called adipocytes. Now what are adipose tissue? What is the work of adipose tissue? Adipose tissue is used to store fats from cells and it is called the adipocytes. Now the functions of adipose tissue. First function is fat storage tissue. It is also called the fat storage tissue because it stores fat from the body. जितना भी body में fat रहता है पूरे फैट को स्टोर करता है और स्टोर करता है तो हम लोग इसको इस टिश्यू को क्या बोलते हैं? एडिपोज टिश्यू बोलते हैं. सेकेंड, शॉक एब्जॉर्बिंग टिश्यू. इसको हम लोग शॉक एब्जॉर्बिंग टिश्यू भी बोलते हैं बिकॉज अगर हम लोग की बॉडी में कोई भी जर्क लगता है, शॉक लगता है तो which helps that adipose tissues helps in shock absorbing also. Then third function is insulating tissue against extremely cold surroundings. अगर हम लोग की सराउंडिंग कोल्ड रहेगी, बहुत ही ज़्यादा ठंडक रहेगी तो अगेन हमारी बॉडी को कौन मैनेज करता है? Our body is managed by the adipose tissue. Hope this much is clear to you all. Now thank you and have a nice day.